Got the pen and the paper in your hand. Got the story going that you wanted to expand. We'll help you on your journey. Let us lend you a hand. Join the show. So let's write the book TV show. Grab your pen and paper and we're gonna let it flow. Talking about write the book TV. Join the show.
Welcome to Write the Book TV. I'm your host, Kimberly LeBeau. Each week we show up here to interview authors and experts about all things writing and publishing. Today I am so excited because we have with us a three-time author, Murrill. Welcome to the show, Mary. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Kimberly.
This is so exciting. I finally have you on my couch. So like I said, you are a contributing author of 3 books, 3 anthologies. So A Threefold Cord Broken, What Happens When Christian Marriages Fail. Then we have The Mom and Me, Stories and Practical Advice for Moms Who Have Survived Parenting. And the title that we're going to be talking about today, Set Apart and Chosen, God Uses Ordinary Women to Do Extraordinary Things. So first of all, I am super proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I am so proud of you because you were someone who was pretty reluctant to write and share your story in the written word. So now you are the author of 3 books. Have you surprised your own self?
Yes, I have.
Yeah?
Yes, and because of you, for you pushing me, that's why I've done it. So I appreciate you for that.
Yes, I'm just so excited that you stepped into that arena because you have an extraordinary story to share with the world. And so recently I have seen you speaking at a conference.
Yes.
And you also did an episode, we were at the Serenity Women's Writing Retreat for one of our episodes on Write the Book TV. So has being an author really kind of pulled you out of your comfort zone and allowed you to be in the forefront a little bit more?
Yes, it has. It's an area that I haven't really stepped out. I've tried. But because I have so many people that's pushing me to tell my story, it's helped me a lot. It's got me exposure. Yes. It's helped me most definitely come out of my comfort zone. I've been able to meet a lot of people, and just to be able to share my story has really, I don't know, it's just pushed me along the way. So I appreciate you. Honestly, because of you, I've done all this, and I thank God that He connected us.
Yes.
And during the journey, I have met so many because of you. Mm-hmm. So I just.
Oh, yes. God is the divine connector of all things. So it's just been exciting to watch your journey as a writer, coming out now as a speaker, and sharing your story, because I always believed in hearing your story that it has great impact. And so that's why I'm so passionate about helping you to get out there and explore and share it with more and more people, because I believe it has a great purpose. Right? So let's talk about your chapter in Set Apart and Chosen. So your title was Standing Tall from a Seated Position.
Yes.
Which I always love that title. I love it so much. And so you wrote about a major incident in your life that resulted in you being in a wheelchair. And how you decided to embrace your new way of being. And so can you share a little bit about how you went from one day walking to being in a wheelchair?
So my journey started off a regular day, just like everybody else, a regular day. And I was at my mom's, it's at my parents' home. And my cousin, she was in a bad relationship, and her boyfriend, came in and was trying to just pull her out from where we were. And she didn't want to go. And we didn't realize that he had a weapon. We didn't realize that. I just looked at the fear on her face, and watching her. So as they got into a disagreement, an argument, I decided to call authorities. And when I did, that's when he shot. We didn't really expect that, you know, not from somebody that you know, although we you know, relationships have their, you know, everybody has their problems in relationships, but I never thought that it would get that bad where you would actually want to take someone's life. And so that's what he decided to do. That's, you know, he made that choice. And because of that, that landed a bullet that traveled and hit my spine. It hit up various parts, various organs in my body, and landed in my spine. And at that time, I had the 911 operator online.
Wow.
You know, so she got to hear, you know, all of that, and because of that, her and her sister, they both lost their lives due to that. But I thank God that I survived. And what kept me alert and living was the thought of I had a daughter to raise. You know, I was living for my daughter, and that's what carried me through from the time I hit the floor to getting on to the medevac unit, because he had to helicopter me to shock trauma. So that's what kept me surviving and moving. So that I had a daughter to take care of.
Wow. See, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
So you wrote in your chapter, even though I could not walk, I was grateful to God that I survived. So one of the most beautiful things I feel about your story is your attitude of gratitude that you took about this whole situation. And so you wrote, it was a new way of living. A new way of living was placed before me, and I was excited to walk in it with or without the use of my legs.
Yes.
Because I think in your chapter you wrote that they told you that there was probably no reason why when the swelling went down that you wouldn't be able to walk again. But then that didn't happen. So let's talk about that mindset.
Yes, exactly.
I want you to share, like, where does that even come from to have the frame of mind to take this approach?
Before all this happened, probably about a couple of days before it happened, I was indecisive. You know, when you first get saved, you live that saved life for a while, then you'll backslide.
Yeah.
So I was wavering. And I'm like, God, you know, I need to make that decision, that choice of serve you. Do I want to hang out a little bit? I don't know, because, you know, it's kind of fun hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really ready to change. But when that happened, I had no doubt in my mind. Like, God, you know what? I'm serving you.
Wow.
And I did that from that day forth. I was grateful to be alive. Grateful that I had that conversation with him. And now you allowed me to live. So now I'm going to live just for you. So I was grateful. I know some people might not have that type of attitude. Some people get down and depressed because they can't walk. But I thought about, I might have lost my legs, but I still have my life. I could have lost my life. My two cousins lost their life. But I had an opportunity to live mine. So God, I'm going to live it just for you. So that's why I had that attitude. I always have a smile on my face. I never got depressed. I never got to, God, why me? Why can't I walk?
That's huge.
Like, God, thank you for letting me have limbs in life and be able to raise my daughter. You know, so that's what kept me.
And you even said, I think, when you were in the hospital, that people were wondering why you were so cheerful.
Exactly. Yes. Even when people came to visit me, they didn't know. I mean, I'm like that today. Sometimes you go visit people, you're not sure what state of mind they're in, so you're not exactly sure what to say, how to say it. So when people came to my room to visit me, I encouraged them. I cheered them up. I had one pastor that came to visit. It took him a while just to come to my room. He said he walked up and down the hall because he just didn't know what to say. He said, but when he came in the room, I encouraged him. I cheered him. So yeah.
That is so powerful. I mean, what would you say to someone who may face a similar journey as what you know, tragedy that was laid upon your feet? Because I know we experience tragedy every day in the news. Like we're hearing it so much. And so if someone finds themselves in that type of situation, what would be that thing that you would say to someone to encourage them to maybe change their perspective?
Right. So I think I would tell them to think of all the positive things you can do. And another thing that you can think of, it's always somebody worse off than you. You know, I remember this one lady, she lived in a chamber. she couldn't do anything. All she could do was talk. She had to look in the mirror in order to talk to people because she couldn't turn left or right. She lived her life inside of that chamber. So it's always somebody else that's worse off than you. So think about that. Think about somebody that you can encourage. You know, but don't look at what you can't do. Look at what you can do.
I love that. Don't look at what you can't do. Look at what you can do. If we could all just take that approach to life, right? Your testimony is so powerful. I'm looking forward to you sharing it more and more and more, because I'd like, your attitude, your personality is just amazing, right? And I tell anybody, nothing keeps you down. You run more than me. Every time I was like, Mary, where you at now? And so I love that about you. Your spirit is just so great and so beautiful. And I love how you approach life and let nothing hold you back. And so I'm so excited to just even know you. So what are some of the ways that your life was impacted? There's some things that changed as a result of you going from one day walking to your life completely changing and you being in a wheelchair.
Sure. One of the things that I had to learn when I was in the hospital is I had to learn how to sit up again. I couldn't sit up. They had to tie me, really, when I had to roll over, they had to tie me to the side of the bed just to keep me on my left side, or tie me to keep me on my right, because I had to keep flipping because I couldn't turn on my own. So then I had to learn how to turn left and right on my own. Wow. Then I had to learn how to sit up and sit up for a while, because they had to tie me just to sit up. They had to tie me to a chair just to sit up for a certain amount of hours a day. So I had to learn how to sit again. And I had to learn to balance myself on a ball. They would put me on this big ball, and then I would have a medicine ball, big heavy medicine balls, throw it back and forth, just to teach me my balance. Then they taught me how to pop wheelies. Oh, in the wheelchair. In the wheelchair, right? All of that was to help with balance, but also to help me get up and off curbs. Okay. So when you go out and be on curbs. But the thing that I most enjoyed and I was so excited about is when I had to drive. I didn't like the part I had to go through the driving test again. But I was excited because being able to be out and not being able to get around, that's just another handicap, another disability. So I was determined to get my own, get my driver's license as far as me driving and using hand control. So I was excited about that. I also had to learn how to maneuver and get around inside of a kitchen. And then I had to learn how to go to the grocery store. So all of this during rehab, they taught you how to do all of that. Go shopping, use a reacher to get stuff off the top shelves and things like that. And so that was a big major change for me. But it was exciting just to be able to try something new. I don't know. She said try something new, right? Try a different way of doing things. But that major thing for me was driving. Yeah. And then even when I started driving, I had to learn how to dismantle my wheelchair. I had to maneuver a certain way because I had to pull the wheelchair from outside and pull it inside the car, pull the front seat, my seat forward, pull the chair in behind me. And it was most tough on rainy days and snow days. But it didn't matter. I still had to get it right, exactly. And then when my son was born, because I did have a child while I was in my chair. Wow. When my son was born, I had to still maneuver. I had to get him out the car seat. Put him on my chest, right? And still be able to get my chair in and out. But I did it. Goes grocery shopping, still had my son on me. That's
grocery incredible. Shopping. That is really incredible. Things you just don't even think about. Things that we take for granted. Right. You had to relearn how to do all of those things over again. So that's pretty incredible. Right. You're amazing. You're amazing.
Thank you. And I had my daughter too. So at that time my daughter's about 6. So I still had to get her up, get her to school. Things like
still
that.
had to be a mom.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So it was a transition for her as well. Learning how to live with a mom that's in a wheelchair. First, your mom walking one day, and the next day she's not.
That is quite an adjustment. So let's switch gears just a little bit, and I want to talk about your journey as a writer. What has been the best thing about being an author?
Mine is, for me, is meeting other authors during my journey. So many different types of stories. I learned so much from them. It was hard for me when we first went to the retreat. It was hard, but being around other authors has helped me, I guess, dig a little bit deeper into me and my story, because I never think that my story is all that important. I'm thinking, oh, people go through this all the time. Why is my story so great? I know, I just think that. But just being around other authors and listening to their stories and how they tell it.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't tell their story the same way, with the same type of attitude or enthusiasm. And I learned that there's different types of stories. So.
And I think that's what's so impactful about you as an author is the way that you share your story because you're coming from this place of gratitude, right? And so, like you said, not everybody is going to share that story the same way. It's a tragic event.
Yes.
You're not telling it from a place of pain or a place of grief or anything like that. You're standing in your power. Right? What to say, standing tall in a seated position, right? The title of your chapter. So what was or has been the writing process? How has that been for you?
It's been enlightening. I guess that's the right word. I've discovered places in me that I didn't know existed. Like just being able, my voice, being able to speak. And speak boldly and confidently. That's one of the main things for me, to speak confidently. That's very hard for me to do. I like to stay in the back, stay in the shop, be quiet, and just listen. But be able to be on the forefront and use my voice and speak. That's
awesome. In your chapter, you shared like intimate parts of your life, intimate parts of your journey. What was that part like for you? Like, because you were sharing things that perhaps you hadn't shared before, things that impacted you, things that impacted your family. And so how was that for you, sharing like the most deepest, intimate parts of your life?
I'm a very personable person. So it was a little hard to share.
Yeah.
But I know I had to get it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we keep things in. We don't know how freeing it is once we tell it and once we share it.
Yeah.
So I was glad to share it. As long as I know, one of the things I found out is that my story is going to help somebody else.
Yes. Absolutely.
I ran across somebody else that shared their story, intimate part, and I'm thinking, wow. You told everybody that?
Yeah.
But I saw the responses of people once they shared that part of them. So that helped me as well when I got to see how it impacted other people's lives.
Yeah, because that's one thing that I've always said is what we go through is not for us.
Yes.
Anything that we've gone through and that we've survived, it's not for us. It's for us to help someone else who may come behind us experiencing that same thing or something similar. And so I think that we have a responsibility to share our story and to share our testimonies and in order to perhaps save the life of someone else or change their perspective or help them to live better. And so I'm just grateful that you decided to do that. And so I know you have at least 2 more books in you. If not more. Okay. I'm claiming that because I want the full memoir. Yes. And then also a business book because you are also an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. And so you have a wealth of knowledge in you, which, we've at LaBoo Publishing benefited from greatly. And we're so appreciative for you. And so I'm looking forward to what's next for you.
Okay.
And so, but I want to know, where do you see yourself going forward in this journey?
As far as doing
writing, speaking, teaching.
I think for one, what I've really been praying for is I'm past the fear of really being in front of of people. Now I just want my story to be more impactful. I want to be able to get out and share more. So I'm asking God to just help me do just that. I remember back when we went to Toastmasters, when you went to Toastmasters, and somebody else had bought
Love
that.
Toastmasters.
Yeah, right. So I was speaking to somebody recently, and they had brought that back up. But I'm just right now. I'm to the point of praying, like, God, just help me be able to get out more.
Yeah.
And be able to share my story more, but so that it's impactful.
Yeah.
Not just to be sharing a story. I'm not one to just want to chop right on the stage. And, I just want to be impactful. Whether it's real small group settings, it doesn't matter. Just as long as my story can help somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 1,000.
Doesn't matter.
Your impact is great.
Yes.
When you share your story. So like I said, I'm looking forward to hearing more from you and seeing more to come from you, because I know that there's just so much more. And the world needs you to continue to share your story. And so this has been amazing. And so I want you to share with the viewers how they can stay connected with you. Because you're going to be more speaking and more writing, and so we want them to be able to connect with you.
Okay, that would be wonderful. You can reach me at MarryEMurrill.com. And also on social media, it's Mary E. Murrill. It's on Facebook. And for my business, it's RescueMeVirtually.com. And on Instagram, it's Rescue Me Virtually. And on Twitter, it's Rescue Me VA.
All the business. I love it. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming out to be my guest on today. It's been a pleasure to have you here on the couch at Write the Book TV.
Thank you.
And so thank you for joining us on today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And to our viewing audience, thank you for joining us for another episode of Write the Book TV. If you are someone who's thinking about writing a book, or you know someone else who should write a book, then head on over to www.writethebooktv.com. And also, if you have a question that you'd like to be answered on a future episode about writing or publishing, you can also follow us and connect with us there. Take care.